guys, welcome back to Pages, Panels, and Pictures, your one-stop spot for all things comics, movies, and more. We finally got our first trailer for the She-Hulk Disney Plus series, and I gotta say, this looks like a great time. From the reintroduction of Tim Roth's Abomination to the Emerald Femme Fatale herself, the P3 team cannot wait to talk about it, so let's get right into it. Here we go.
Oh man, I am so excited for this, man. Uh, She-Hulk is about Jennifer Walters. She's the cousin of Bruce Banner, who is obviously
Right.
the Hawk. She's best known for being a quirky comedy lawyer who she deals specifically in a lot of superhero-centered trials. It looks like the Disney Plus series is shaping up to show us her transformation into the big green gamma mommy herself, as well as transitioning from normal lawyer into a woman who is both a celebrity, superhero, and a high-profile lawyer. In the comics, while on trial against the mob boss, he has her shot, and the only way for her to be saved is for Bruce to give her a blood transfusion. But in the process, his irradiated blood mutates her into what would become known as the She-Hulk. Unlike Bruce, she tends to stay in her green form all the time. She has none of the rage monster issues. Uh, and just like him as well, she is eventually working with the Avengers. She's a big time member of the Avengers during like my generation growing up, and that's where I learned to love the character. But aside from that, she's also a really big part of the Fantastic Four at different time periods, mostly in the late '80s, early '90s. But
Right.
she is really integral to like a lot of the major teams of the comics, and I think she'll probably, hopefully, become this part of this Marvel Cinematic Universe. My initial thoughts on it, though, I think it looks great. It looks very funny, a lot of fourth wall breaks, and it kind of gives us like the Ally McBeal vibe, but it gives us a lot of like
I
low
love that
tier
show.
villains, I'll say. And I like when they use low tier villains and establish them as low tier villains because She-Hulk needs people to just beat up, and you're not going to bring in an A-list celebrity and an A-list villain just for her to fucking trounce on them. But
Right.
as we'll see later in the trailer, people like Frogman, they can just get beat up because all he has is the powers of a frog in a weird little mechanical suit. And that's going to be great to see her whoop his ass. He looks like a Power Ranger. Uh, what are your initial thoughts on the trailer before I get into like the actual specifics?
Well, honestly, new character for me. I've played as her in like mobile games and stuff like that, but I don't really know much about her. I've heard some things about Matt Murdock being a guest on this show, so I'm looking forward to that. Getting my Daredevil dose. We just talked about it. Like every time we do these comic talks, we end up always talking about Spidey or Daredevil, so that's pretty cool. Um, yeah, I'm very interested to see how this show will turn out and how it will appeal to the plot in the grand scheme of things. Honestly.
For sure, for sure.
Before we continue, I want to talk to you guys about the sponsor of our channel, Studio 5 Star. If you like pop culture graphic tees and decal stickers inspired by all your favorite comics, movies, and anime, then Studio 5 Star is the place for you. They have great product, better deals, and new limited time merch dropping weekly. One of those products happens to be our new Doctor Strange inspired design, Strange Tales, which is available now in their Etsy store, but only till the end of May, so go get that now and use promo code PANELS at checkout for 30% off your order. You can support this channel by going and checking out their shop of many things on Etsy, and you can follow them on Instagram at Studio 5 Star Official.
From here, we're going to break into our specific scenes that I felt were notable that we can talk about throughout the trailer. And
Right.
it starts off with we see some armor guards pulling like high tech weaponry out. It kind of reminds me of Adrian Toomes and Vulture in their group. Uh,
Right.
Not sure what that's all about, but it's probably some superhuman task force there to subdue Jen slash Bruce. We don't know yet. But
Yeah.
based on a car crash showcased in the opening scenes of the trailer, Jen may actually end up getting run off the road, causing a life threatening accident, most likely in relation to the case against the dangerous crime boss. Give us Vinny D. I need Vincent D'Onofrio. That would be the perfect way to reintroduce him. You could still have his eyes all shot up by Echo, and
Yeah.
he'd still be a threat, man. Uh, but we also see a mob slash gang in the trailer who may very well be the Wrecking Crew, which is a like B-list villainous group from the comics, a construction themed group of supervillains with the
Yeah.
leader, the Wrecker. He wields a crowbar, and the gang in the trailer, all of them are holding crowbars, and well, most of them are holding crowbars. But Bruce, or the next clips are Bruce helping her with her training and controlling her mutation, and he even throws this crazy danger room sequence at her, which I can only assume is the Gamma Lab that he claims he spent 18 months in Avengers Endgame. And, so he throws this buzzsaw contraption at her, forcing her transformation, getting one of our big comedy sequences in it where he gives her the thumbs up when he succeeds and then starts going, no, no, when she starts smashing the door, coming after him. Uh, like I said, I'm excited for these comedy sequences. But from there, we cut to our montage of the various action sequences. This is still a Marvel trailer and it's still required. Uh,
Yeah.
she talks about not being a superhero, how it's for billionaires, narcissists, and adult orphans. Shots fired, Mr. Wayne. But
Yeah.
we get clips of Titania, played by Jamila Jamil, most notably from The Good Place. And she actually has Titania's red hair and stuff I was surprised about, but we get some like clips of her just busting into a room. We get a few clips of She-Hulk talking out on her. Uh, we get a Power Ranger look-alike, which upon my second viewing of the trailer, I realized was Frogman. Uh, MT from New Rockstars must be ecstatic about that. He's been wanting to play Frogman in the MCU for so long, but it's pretty cool. And then we get amongst this, we get the reveal of Abomination as well, played by Tim Roth. Emil Blonsky's back in his human and later in his Abomination form. Uh,
Wait,
we'll
wait,
talk.
wait, 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 wait. What? I didn't see the human. Really?
Oh yeah, they show him in like a containment cell when they in the at the start of the trailer when they talk about the first talk about her being a lawyer for Superhuman X, and and then he starts to transform, and then later in the trailer we see the full transformation. But
Yeah, yeah.
we can talk about how that looks towards the end. I have some thoughts on the CGI and stuff as a whole. I know there's a lot of complaints going around the community, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Our final scene, it's the post-title sequence scene. Yet again, another great piece of comedy. We see a dating scene where she's going through different dates. Notably, the light-skinned guy who flexes in the dating scene, that is shout out to our other channel, Tight Talk on Turnbuckles. That's David Otunga, baby.
Big fucking David Otunga,
That
aka
shit,
Jennifer Hudson's husband.
yeah, that shit made me laugh so hard, bro. I was like, man, WWE and comic books go hand in hand, man. But and then it ends with She-Hulk on a date with another guy before cutting to her place and her just princess carrying this man to the presumably the bedroom, making short men everywhere fantasize about things they didn't even know they wanted. Overall, this trailer, scene for scene, everything looked exciting to me. I can't wait for it. But we, like I talked about earlier, we have the previous appearances in the trailer: Titania, Abomination, Frogman, the potential Wrecking Crew. We don't know what other Hawk villains, She-Hulk villains we're going to get, but what we do know is that Benedict Wong will be returning as Wong for She-Hulk.
Absolutely
I am
amazing.
I love Wong, man. He's such a wholesome
Love
character
Wong.
who's like he's a solid like B-rate support character, but he
Did you hear
understands that and does it so fucking well. I love support guys, man.
I just had to yell over. I just had to yell over to my girl, like, "Hey, did you hear fucking Wong's coming back, bro?" Love
Yeah,
it.
man, I can't wait. But other than Wong, that's really about all we know outside of what we've seen in the trailer. I can't wait to hear more. You can't wait to hear more. But with this trailer and all of its excitement comes a little bit of controversy, like it always does. You can't please everyone. Most of the time, you can't please anyone. But there's a lot of complaints online about the CGI right now. And
Yeah.
certain scenes in the trailer did stand out, but also we have a few months until this comes out yet. Still not in post production, and most of the scenes with She-Hulk didn't look bad. There was only a few notable ones, which one I'll throw up on the screen over here, which is her like holding her phone, and she looks like a video game character in a real world. It's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit almost, but like I said, it's a Disney Plus project. We're in a post-pandemic world where it's not like the easiest to do all this shit. You can't get all these giant production teams together as well as you could before. So like I feel like people should probably just be a little more understanding because I don't know. I'm it doesn't look bad. It looks fine to me. But
Yeah, honestly, I haven't seen any of the feedback or any of the chats about the show because like the trailer like just dropped. I kind of like made my way around, especially these Marvel and Disney Plus shows. staying away from like Reddit and like all these like crowdsourced like community pools to get together and bitch, because people, you just really notice how weird people are and the things and nuances that matter to them, that just, and the tropes that they care about. Like, dude, I'm just excited that we have more Marvel. We talk about this all the time. That's my thing. Like, the next step, I'm just excited to have more Marvel. I don't really have any complaints, and the CGI looks fine. The CGI looks fine. If I could sit through the first season of Dragon Ball Super, I can make it through anything.
That's a
So
fact. That's certified, stamped.
that's true, because that was like one of the worst animated like things I've ever seen in my life, especially for such a legacy series.
Yeah, man, and it's definitely She-Hulk's gonna be a different one for us all, man. Like we already know that it's gonna be like a kind of comedy, maybe a little romantic comedy thrown in there, a little powerful female law thing, and She-Hulk, the comic herself and the character, is a satire on the over sexualization of women in comic books. So there's a lot of depth that's going to come from this, both from like a comic standpoint in the universe and from like a public standpoint. I think it's definitely a good time for this to come out. I definitely think it's a great vibe, a great look for the currently really dark MCU because it gives us that little bit of light that you always need in comic books. But with that, if you don't have anything left, I don't have anything left. If you guys are liking the tunage you're hearing right now, you can go check out my co-host on all forms of social media at @TilDN. And there you can even find his new passion project, Comic Buddies 214. Other than that, you can follow me on Instagram at RoastedBoyWonder. There you can get updates on this channel. You can get some pretty cool artwork, and you can even hit me up for all your art commission needs. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell to get notified when we're back with another episode of P3, Tight Talk on Turnbuckles, Roach Boys Comic Corner, and we appreciate everything you guys do for us.
And with that being said, this has been Pages, Pictures, and Panels. I'm your host, TilDN, my co-host, Roach Boy Red.
And we cannot wait for the giant green gamma mommy!
That wizard said he was with the static, gotta show me, And I keep that iron, but we ain't fucking with no Tonys, I got that all gold, Agamotto. Keep my cape for photos. Your bitch in my dojo, like fuck Dormammu. Drafted by my OG, she was ancient. Multiverses breaking, sling ring when I'm banging. Do what I got you all gold, Agamotto. Keep my cape for photos. Your bitch in my dojo, like fuck Dormammu. Drafted by my OG, she was ancient. Multiverses breaking. Sling ring when I'm banging, do what I got to.